Now let's take a look at the for loop. A for loop sets up a loop based on particular criteria, usually a sequence or a range of things. With it, we get a variable that contains the current value with each iteration. Here's a simple example. So a for loop looks like this. It starts with for, and then it has a variable, in this case I, that contains the current variable each time that it steps through the list. Then the word in, and then whatever list of things you're going to use, in this case 1, 2, 3. Then the statement do, followed by anything you want to do with the current value at that iteration of the loop. And then that's all ended up with done. So in this case, this will echo out 1, 2, 3. So let's see that. And there it is. So this could get really tedious if we want to use a large range, say from 1 to 100. So for that, we could use brace expansion. So this will list all the numbers from 1 to 100. And there it goes. So already, this syntax has saved me a whole lot of typing. In Bash 4 and above, I can specify an interval. And there we go, counting by 2s. Another variation of this for loop is available too, which might look familiar to you if you've worked with a C-style language. Setting a variable equal to some starting value, and then a test to see if that variable meets a certain criteria, and then some operation on that variable, usually an increment or a decrement. So I'll save this, and I'll run that. Of course, you can loop through an array as well. Get rid of that line with Control-K, and I'll specify a simple array. And then I'll set up my for loop, for I in, and then using parameter expansion here, I'll read the array. Then I'll run my script. And there's each of the items in the array. Working with an associative array is a little bit different. And again, remember, this will only work on Bash 4 and above. Again, I'll get rid of those lines using Control-K to cut the lines. And then I'll declare an associative array. And I'll start populating that array. I'll have a key called name, and I'll set the value to my name. And I'll have a key called ID that I'll just set to some value. And then in the for loop, I start it just like normal, but instead there's something a little bit different going on. I'm using an exclamation mark to access the keys in the associative array. And since my keys are strings, they could have spaces in them, so I'm using quotes to accommodate that. So when I loop through, the variable I contains the key, and so I need to modify my echo statement to get the value of the array that corresponds to that key. So here I'm echoing the value of the key, and then I'm echoing the value as referenced by the key in the array. So I'll save that, and I'll run it, and there it is. I have a listing of the key and the value for each of the key value pairs that I specified. So finally, let's take a look at using command substitution. If I type for I in, and then use command substitution just to do something basic in this case, like ls, this uses the output of the ls command as a series of things for the for loop to loop through. So if I run that, I see each of the items in my folder. Of course, there are much better ways of running the ls command, but this shows how easy it is to integrate some logic with the operations you use at the command line.